What's going on, Nostalgia Maniacs? I just wanted to take some time to say thank you for tuning in, no matter where you're listening, whether it's on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, or if you're watching live on YouTube or Twitch. Your support means the world to us, and we can't wait to take a trip down memory lane each and every week. If you would, please like and share on whatever platform you're on. It really helps keep the nostalgia alive. Now, as always, let's get nostalgic.
'80s glow, the '90s flare, joystick battles and pixel care. Each tale we tell, each laugh we share. It's a gamer's journey beyond compare. Nostalgia Mania, press start and see the games of the past where we long to be. Tune in each week, it's time to rewind. Retro memories for the gamer's mind.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome in to episode 20 of Nostalgia Mania, the ultimate trip back to the games, movies, and toys and memories that made the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s unforgettable. Thank you for joining us as we build the ultimate theme park empire, from thrilling coasters to guest antics. We are reliving the addictive strategy, the unforgettable screams, and all the wild creations that made this game a classic. I am your host, the real Josh Elliott.
You are.
And with me, as always, for the second night in a row, Stitch Mania. What's up, man?
Not a lot. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. This is crazy.
Yeah.
Doing 2 nights in a row. I feel like we're kind of cruising along here, aren't we?
Yeah, man. Definitely a double header weekend, you know?
Yeah,
A week,
yep.
rather.
For sure. Yeah, if you guys missed out, we went live and talked about Cartoon Network, the early stages of that network, how it started, cartoons, and kind of the early years of that network in our memories. So if you guys haven't checked that out, that is uploaded on the podcast already. Uploaded it this morning. You can go check that out. Video library on our YouTube and Facebook. So we are raring to go for tonight for RollerCoaster Tycoon.
Oh, yeah.
But before we start, I always like to start off with some chit chat back and forth. And we talked baseball yesterday. Let's talk football, and let's talk about your tight end.
Well, it is pretty tight. Actually, I do real quick before we jump. I actually meant to say this last episode, but I forgot to. So speaking of like spring training in baseball, so Blake Mitchell, one of the Royals prospects, he actually got hurt. So he'll be out like 4 to 6 weeks. So never a good thing to hear right before spring training starts. But, you know, it is what it is. And hopefully by opening day, you know, he'll be close to, you know, ready to go. So
Was Blake was he projected to be on the opening day roster?
I don't even know, to be honest. Yeah.
Yeah. He might be down in I think I can't remember. I know he's a highly touted prospect, and I know he was probably going to spend some time at least down in AAA, maybe even AA. But yeah, it does suck. Anytime somebody gets hurt, you can't show off what you got. You can't get some reps in, and that's what you need in the minors to get those reps in and show what you got, because otherwise you may not get called up.
Here's a fun fact. He's 20 years old. He was born in 2004 on my birthday, August 3rd.
So
Nice.
Yeah,
fun fact.
Nice. Just almost 20 years later, 19 years 19 years
That's
apart.
all right. That's all right. But no, you said football. So
Yeah.
Travis Kelce, he's going to do it for another year.
Yeah.
So, there at the beginning of the season, or maybe towards the end, he was looking a little tired, looking a little worn down. They are playing more games. And Travis has got, he's got a lot of other stuff going on outside of football,
Yep.
So he's not, I guess I can't really speak for where his mind is, but, he's just, I don't know if he's totally invested in, wanting to play. I mean, he's a competitor. He is. He wants to play. I just,
Yeah.
he knows it's about time. So, and I think if the Chiefs definitely would have won the Super Bowl, got that three-peat, I think he definitely probably would have hung it up. I think that game really left a bad taste in his mouth, which left a lot of bad tastes in our mouth. Wow, I can't even hardly speak, man. Left bad taste in a lot of people's mouths. That's what I'm trying to say. But yeah, so I think wants to come back. Another redemption, and and you know what? That's fine too, because he'll pad those stats. He'll pad those stats, make them more unreachable. Hopefully, So,
Yeah.
I'm one of those people, man. I'm glad he broke all of Tony Gonzalez's records. Because Tony wanting to leave, that didn't really sit well with me. I mean, I understood it, but it just didn't sit well with me. So.
Yeah, I mean, it happens. You got a player who, is really, really good, and I kind of think of the same way as like back in 2012 with the Royals when we had Zach Greinke and how dominant Zach Greinke was, but the Royals were god awful, and he could never win. So he decided to leave. Now, granted, the Royals after that got players from that trade, built them up. And then 3-4 years later, we're in the playoffs. We win the World Series. So, I mean, I don't take away players wanting to, hey, I'm good. I'm great. I want to go win now. And that's what he tried to do. And yeah. But yeah, it's good that he
bounced around to a lot of teams too.
He has. And now is he still with Kansas City?
No. He's a free agent again.
Yeah, because he came back for a few years, and that was kind of cool to see. So
yeah, definitely.
But yeah, Kelce, I know there for a while he was thinking about hanging it up, like you said, and I think the Chiefs kind of gave him almost like a deadline. Like, hey, you need to tell us by the time we have to give you your guarantee.
His bonus. Yeah, I think it was like March. I want to say it was like March 12th or March 15th, something like that. I'm not sure on the date, but yeah. So, because they, you know what, and I don't blame them. They need to know if they need to pay him. Set aside those funds. Plus, they need to know, as far as who's going to be on the roster, and they don't want him sitting there taking all that time up until training camp starts.
Yep.
To decide if he's actually going to play or not.
Yep.
So
for sure. So did you have anything else you wanted to chat about before we jump into this?
Well, speaking of like the Super Bowl and the Chiefs, I guess there's teams out there or a specific team that's trying to get the tush push banned. So,
and for us idiots who may not know, explain what the tush push is.
Well, I don't even think I really know. It's like I don't know. I guess you'd almost call it like a rugby style like move, where they get real low to the ground and then they just, I don't know, they push each other forward. Yeah, but
so I'm imagining like and this may be completely wrong, I'm imagining like a quarterback sneak where you hike the ball and you're behind your line and somebody comes behind the quarterback and just and pushes him
I
forward.
I think that's kind of what it is. Yeah. So
we'll see. And you said that they're trying to get it banned, or it is banned?
Yeah, they're trying to get it banned. Yeah. And which, I honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if they did.
Right.
Because, it seems like every year they want to change a rule. It's kind of like our fantasy football league.
I was gonna bring that up. You hate changing rules so often. Which, I mean, I get it, man. Like, yeah, I 100% get yours because I started as the commissioner. I'm still technically quote unquote co-commissioner, but I have no idea what the rule. Like, I have no idea what we can and can't do because it gets changed every single year. Yep. And so I'm glad Brent runs it and just let him handle it. And I just kind of step in if he can't. And so anyway, this isn't a football podcast. We've been talking 11 minutes about NFL and sports.
That's your fault. You're the one who brought up the one who brought up baseball and football. So.
I did. I like to always start it off with some quick banter, and football and baseball is kind of something we both enjoy. So, So before we jump into this episode, as you can see down below, we're talking RollerCoaster Tycoon. If you are listening on our podcast platform, we are on all podcast platforms, and we're also live each and every week, at least once, sometimes twice, as we did this week, on our Facebook page at Nostalgia Mania, on our YouTube page at JSE Studios, on our Twitch page at The Real Josh Elliott. Come check us out. Search Nostalgia Mania. You'll find us. We're not the Nostalgia Mania Wrestling Podcast. That's a thing on YouTube. That's not us. We are Nostalgia Mania, and that's it. You can follow us on all the socials, Facebook, Instagram, X. Eventually, we'll probably get a Blue Sky. Eventually, we'll probably get a TikTok. I keep saying that. We just got to go ahead and do it. Or I'll just make Stitch do it and have him man those accounts. So,
absolutely.
And then he can keep
for the guy who's never on TikTok and barely knows how to use it. Yeah, I'll man that account. Sure.
Heck yeah, man. Did you want to tell everybody where they can follow you on Zanga and MySpace?
Yeah. My only friend on there right now is Tom.
Nice.
It's really too bad. He's got the same profile pic that he's had for the last 20 years, but hey, it's cool, man. I enjoy that one friend. He's always there. He's always online. I think, he never lets me down.
Yep.
Okay, boomer. No, Facebook, X, TikTok, Twitch, YouTube. Facebook, Instagram, but Facebook is the one I use the most. I also have an OnlyFans. Okay. I just started it. It's a new thing. So yeah, I'm selling pics of my feet and my hands. So, I'm definitely
hands. That's a new one.
Oh, yeah.
Wearing the hands these days?
Oh yeah, just think about all the girls that would advertise the jewelry on the Home Shopping Network and stuff like that, man. They'd show their hands with the jewelry and stuff on it.
Stitch, don't give it away for free. Leave your hands off camera.
Okay, I'm sorry.
There you go. Don't want to take away business.
That's a sneak peek.
There you go. All right, we're 15 minutes in. Let's jump into this. What are we talking about, Stitch? RollerCoaster Tycoon. This is our first PC game.
It is.
First computer game that we're covering. Not the only. Eventually, we'll circle back.
Yep.
I kind of want to touch at some point at least one game from every platform, even if we didn't play it very often. We haven't touched GameCube yet. We haven't touched Dreamcast, Sega Saturn, Game Boy, Atari. So we still got quite a few platforms that we haven't even began to discuss yet.
Yeah, I know.
So
we're too busy on Super Nintendo,
and N64,
N64. So
and PlayStation. Yeah, those are the three that we played the most. So makes sense why we focus more on those as we do. But so this one is RollerCoaster Tycoon, released in April 12th, actually, one day prior to my anniversary in 1999. 99, I was 12. You were what, 14?
Somewhere.
And yeah, so basically, if for those of you who have never played RollerCoaster Tycoon or don't remember, basically you're just put in charge of building and managing a theme park where you can build like roller coasters, rides, carousels. You can, manage your staff. You can build paths, bathrooms, concession stands. You're balancing your finances, and basically the goal is to just complete the best looking theme park that you can before the time runs out. And that's pretty much it. I mean, make as much money as possible. And I absolutely love this game. Before we jump into the actual game, tell me like some of your favorite theme park. Are you a fan of going to theme parks? Are you a fan of riding the roller coasters? Kind of what? Tell us what some of your favorite rides are at theme parks.
So I've been to Six Flags in St. Louis. We rode. I don't remember specifically all the rides that we rode in Six Flags because it was so long ago. One of the rides I do specifically remember riding was Mr. Freeze, which everybody knows that's a character from Batman, one of the villains. But Mr. Freeze was pretty cool. It was the only bad thing. It was a long line for such a short ride. Basically, so what you would do is you would be in a roller coaster, but it wasn't like your typical roller coaster. What it was, you had it was very small, like the track itself was very small, but what it would do is it would go through its, loops and stuff like that. But like I said, it's a very short track. But the thing about it is when it would go, because it would go all the way up to like a stopping point, basically, so it would like freeze. And then, a few seconds would go by and then it would do the whole thing in reverse. So that was pretty cool. But like I said, it was a very short ride. The wait was terrible for it. It was cool though. What?
Well, I was gonna say I didn't know if you wanted to. If I wanted to ask you a question, did you ever ride the boomerang at Worlds of Fun?
You'll have to refresh my memory.
The way you described Mr. Freeze was similar to how the boomerang was, because it would lift you up to a point, and then you would go through the whole ride, which was very, very short, frontwards, and then would go up to the top and stop, and then you would do the exact same thing backwards.
You know what? I did. Because is the boomerang still there, or did they replace it? Didn't they replace it with something?
No, I think the boomerang is still there.
Yeah, I can't remember. It's
been a while. It's been a World of Fun. I haven't been since I've had kids, which is crazy. But
so I actually went to Worlds of Fun in the summertime. Me, Brandy, and the three kids went. Not my three kids. We went there over the summertime, and it is nowhere near the same park that we all loved and remembered as kids.
Yeah,
because there were rides that were shut down. There were a lot of concession stands and gift shops that were closed. Looks like they hadn't been there in either months or years. And, probably COVID, I'm sure, had something to do with the majority of that. It was definitely kind of heartbreaking to see all those things that were closed, because I can remember going there, in my younger years as a kid, and seeing all the gift shops, all the concession stands, every ride was working. But yeah, so Six Flags, Worlds of Fun, Oceans of Fun, and Worlds of Fun's and Oceans of Fun is two Kansas City theme parks. For anybody that's not in the Missouri, area that knows. And then I've been to Silver Dollar City in Branson, Missouri. That was a fun place. But yeah, the Mamba from Worlds of Fun was awesome. The Patriot was fun. I couldn't ride the Patriot when I went over the summer. I was a little, let's say, on the hefty side. So I had to not ride it. I was going to try and ride the Timberwolf, but unfortunately that was the same thing. I did get to ride the Mamba, so that was cool. I wasn't completely.
So I mean, I just want to ask this. I know it's already embarrassing what you just said, but did you actually go and sit down and try to get in it, and you couldn't close it?
Yeah,
and you had to get out?
100%. Yep, absolutely. So yeah, of course, you're being that big guy. You're trying to sit down, and then everybody's sitting there watching you, waiting for you to get on the ride, and then your big ass has to get up and walk to the exit. So
it sucks, dude.
I mean, it does. But it is what it is. So yeah. Oceans of Fun. I went to not like a long time ago, but probably 10 years, give or take. Over or under, whatever.
Yeah.
I went, and it was actually fun. Definitely good to go there during the summertime. Cool off.
Yeah.
So, but yeah,
I don't think I've been to Oceans of Fun in years. And I'm talking I don't even remember.
Yeah.
Going to Worlds of I meant Oceans of Fun. Yeah. I don't remember going to Oceans of Fun ever.
Yeah.
I know I probably did at some point. I went to Worlds of Fun a lot, but Oceans of Fun. Yeah. So, I got a screenshot for those watching live. This is the cover of RollerCoaster Tycoon.
Man, you can just tell that thing is outdated.
It's This is the cover of the PC game. I mean, it was a lot, man. This game was didn't have very much expectations. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
I'm gonna flip flop these two because I have them out of order, but I wanted to start off with that name you see at the very bottom with the C and the S. You can't really see it very well.
Yeah,
it says Chris Sawyer.
Yep.
So he is the genius behind RollerCoaster Tycoon. So from the little research that I did of the game before the episode, I kind of look it up and see kind of what the backstory was. And he was working on a simulation game. Now he's already made Transport Tycoon in 1994. And so he was making I'm trying to I guess I didn't write it down, but he was trying to make a different game. And then all of a sudden he came across theme parks and started building and just playing around with RollerCoaster Tycoon and building a small game that had to do with roller coasters. And basically he single-handedly programmed RollerCoaster Tycoon, and I'm not sure what these terms mean. Some of you might and be kicking me, but he programmed it in x86 assembly, which I guess is pretty rare in the late 90s. And basically what that did was it made it highly optimized for even really low-end computers. So it ran smoothly. And anyway, he created the whole game. And he only had basically two other top people help him, Simon Foster and Alistair Brimble. Chris Sawyer was the lead programmer. Simon was the artist and graphics designer. And then Alistair was the sound and music. And that's it. Everybody else was kind of fell below them, and there wasn't that many people. And then this game came out, and like I said, I'm gonna play some screenshots as we go along here, but for a game that was not supposed to happen, he was designing a different game, and came out with RollerCoaster Tycoon. It was the best-selling computer game of 1999. It was one of the best-selling computer games of all time, which sold over 4 million copies.
Wow.
It was GameSpot's best simulation game nominee, and it's been in the top 100 PC games list and a ton of accolades. And I remember this specifically right here, like trying to, when you're building a park, you got to think, when I first started building theme parks on this game, I spread everything out.
Yeah.
And like I would make it one long path, and then I'd put a carousel, and then I'd put another long, keep going straight, and I'd put a bathroom, and then this right here is very, very well done. This is what a theme park in real life should feel like.
Yeah.
You walk in, you've got drinks, you've got a couple rides, you got a concession stand, you've got a haunted house, whatever, but it's all like lumped in there together.
Yeah.
Whereas mine always seemed like they were like 3 miles, like all that would have been 3 miles apart in my first couple theme parks building.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's another screenshot here, man. This is look at that, scrambled eggs. You can sell scrambled eggs at this theme park for $1.20. This is what they're selling it for. So, I mean, you could do pretty much everything, man. You could name your guests. You could name your rides. You could put the prices of how much each ride cost. A lot of good customization in the game.
Pretty
so
solid, man.
Like
games today don't even have that kind of customization. So
yeah, for sure.
But I think customization in a game is huge, especially in like character creation, like, for 100%. We talked about it last week on Madden. Like what's Madden missing is create a team. Like I want to customize my own team, my own colors, my own uniforms, my own logo, and you don't have that anymore. Nope.
So let's we're way ahead here, but I got the RollerCoaster Tycoon intro that we will play right now. Gotcha.
Dude, what's crazy is that actually sounds like a legit theme park.
Yeah.
Like it really does. I'm sure they probably just went to a theme park and recorded the audio. So
might have. Shout out to Allison Brimble. We said their name earlier. So they were in charge of sound and music. So good stuff. I love the sound, the music.
Yeah.
And speaking of like the sounds of like the people, like the guests in this game, if you remember, like when you would build, no matter how well put together your park was, no matter how many paths they had, no matter, like I said, you could have constructed this phenomenally. And the guests always seem to have the navigational skills of a goldfish, which is basically 2 feet, completely lost, have no idea where they're at.
Yeah.
So many times I would be playing and I would get little messages that says, "Hey, where are we at? I'm lost. I don't know where the exit's at. Where am I supposed to go? Where's the bathroom?"
No.
Never could find a bathroom. Never could find a trash can. Despite having like multiple bathrooms all over the park, you'd get the "I can't find a bathroom" prompt.
And I'm sure they have to throw those in there, also sporadically, even though you probably have plenty of bathrooms and, so
the beginning stages of AI.
yeah, they gotta give you a little challenge, So.
Oh yeah, dude, this is something I forgot about. I was talking to Chase about this too. Do you remember that you could actually, and I think maybe you had to, I can't remember if it was at $0 or not. You had to charge the guests money to use the bathroom.
No.
Yeah. Yeah. People would, they would, I'm remembering now because people would refuse to use the bathroom because of the cost. And then that's a lot of what the complaints were. Even if you set it at like 5 cents.
Yeah, I would set it. Yeah, I would set it as low as possible because. Yeah.
And then also like another thing is trash cans. I remember that people would just throw garbage all over your park, no matter how many trash cans you had. And then you'd have to, I remember you had to hire like a janitor or something to come around and start sweeping up all the trash. And eventually you'd have like 20 janitors in your whole park because it was one of them couldn't keep up.
Yeah.
So when you played this, what did you do a lot of roller coaster builds? Did you try to make some crazy?
No, not really.
No.
Did you try it pretty simple, man? I didn't want to try to get too complicated with it because,
Yeah.
I loved
the build, like to customize your own coaster. And again, at the very beginning, it was hard. It was very, I don't know. It was just hard to learn because again, like the paths, the roller coasters seemed like it was too spread out. Like if you look at real roller coasters, they're big, but the tracks turn around and they go like right next to each other and they're not really taking up a lot of real estate.
Yeah.
I loved building like coasters that were based off of real roller coasters.
Yeah.
So you mentioned the Mamba. I mean, that one was pretty easy to make. I mean, it's just 2 snake drops and then a rotation around and then a couple others. And it was pretty easy.
Yeah.
Love doing that. Remember the Orient Express?
Yeah.
Did that.
Wasn't that the ride that got stuck upside down?
I think so. And it got taken down.
Yeah.
And so same with the Zambingi Zinger. That got shut down as well. I don't think anybody got stuck on that one, but they did.
That was one of the rides that was shut down when I went there over the summer. So.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. They rebuilt the Zambingi Zinger. That's right. They rebuilt it. They tore it down, and when we were kids, because I remember riding it as a kid, they tore it down. It was gone forever, and then I think they brought it back within the last like 6-7 years.
Yep.
So, and then another fun one to build in the game was the Timberwolf, because it was a wooden coaster, and they had the ability. I'm pretty sure in this game you could build wooden coasters. I know in RollerCoaster Tycoon 2 or 3, you could build the wooden ones. So super fun, man.
Yeah, there was a lot of RollerCoaster Tycoon games.
Yeah,
and they were kind of the like RollerCoaster Tycoon and Sim City. Those were kind of the 2 main simulator games. So. And lots of other games have spawned off of that, Zoo Tycoon. So
did you play much Zoo Tycoon?
No, not at all.
What about any other Tycoon games? Did you play only RollerCoaster Tycoon. But I have played games that are kind of similar. Yeah.
Like more recently, there's a Jurassic Park game called Jurassic Park Evolution, and it's you build your own Jurassic Park, and it's actually pretty awesome. I mean, it's graphics look great on it. It's very detailed. You can raise the dinosaurs from an egg to So it's definitely pretty cool. They came out in the second one, so
Yeah.
definitely goes to show you that those types of games, are still popular. So
Oh yeah.
and then there's like 2 Point Hospital, 2 Point something else that they just came out with or getting ready to come out with. So yeah.
I love the and Brody's in the chat now, so he probably knows what I'm about ready to say because he enjoyed it as well. I like the setup of a lot of these simulation games, like where I like that more so than actually playing it. And I say that because like Brody and I did this a lot, and I know Chase did as well. And I'm not sure how much you played them, but when WWE came out with Universe Mode, you could create your own story and create your own brands. So we would make like WCW on the game, and we would spend hours setting up this, this world, but usually never play it.
Yeah,
because it was more fun just to set it up than it was to actually play.
Well, and you sim the matches and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And the good thing about that is that was when you could actually download created wrestlers.
Yep.
Back in my day, you had to, sit there. Well, me and yours day, whatever.
Yeah.
We actually had to sit there and, go online and find somebody that created the wrestlers and then copy what they did. Now you can just simply click a few buttons and you're downloading those wrestlers, and they look absolutely phenomenal. Some of them just look like they straight up came out of the actual game.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. So anyway, we got way off topic there, but we're talking about simulation, and I was talking about building the coasters. But what I also like to do, and this is extremely evil, and I know a lot of people did this as they were building too as kids. You could open up unfinished roller coasters.
Oh, that's messed up.
And let people ride them.
Wow.
So you get one that send them down a hill and then send them back, start them to go back up a hill, and you could send a coaster right off into oblivion. And
wow.
Yeah, that happened a little bit. You can also like remove, Chase said he did this a lot. He could remove exits and like torture the guests. So he would just remove exits in all the bathrooms and then just have them.
Yeah, that kind of, you know what? That kind of sounds like Chase a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, it was great, man. And then like I said, you could name guests. You could name everybody that was in there.
Yeah, which is pretty cool because you can put your friends and your family members. That's awesome.
Yeah. So, and then I got a couple more screenshots. I mean, so some of these are cool. Like you got all the layers and the the different landscapes, I guess you can say, where some are higher and lower. You got to kind of work around that a little bit. You got the water rides you can build. Looks kind of goofy on this, but still kind of cool. You can build right on top of a lake. And then, like I said, this is kind of like what my parks would look like. Just wide open. You'd have one merry-go-round or carousel, whatever, and then you'd go on, and your next one's a mile down the road.
Yeah.
So, which I guess is kind of Worlds of Fun's a little bit better setup than that. The zoo in Africa is you see the elephants and you walk 5,000 miles to get to the next animal.
Yep.
But anyway, let's play my last gameplay clip. This is just a player online playing building a small theme park.
He wasn't really doing much there.
I know. I couldn't find any exciting gameplay like I have all the other games. Like all you're doing is building a theme park. So,
Yeah.
I mean, at least the music was good, I guess.
Yeah. Not really too much excitement there, but
Yeah. That's
all right.
Yep. So this game, like I said, came out in 1999. It also had a couple expansion packs, which was kind of new to the PC world, because this game got so popular so fast that people were wanting more from this game. Mm-hmm. So they came out with the first expansion pack, which was called Corkscrew Follies. Basically added more rides, more roller coasters. You could do a Heartline Twister coaster, which focused on twists rather than loops. It had go-karts. It had a maze, which we saw in the screenshot earlier. It had a reverser coaster, which is kind of what you talked about in your Mr. Freeze. It had a coaster that goes backwards. And then expanded water rides. So, yeah, that's I don't know. I can't remember if I got either one of these expansion packs or not. I think I got RollerCoaster Tycoon after the fact, and yeah, your face just lit up.
Oh yeah,
legitimately, not with a smile, but with the actual light.
Yeah,
is that a ring light or is that a?
No, I was just trying something.
Oh,
getting a little experimental.
I don't even have mine on. There you go. Now you can actually see my gray hair. Anyway, and then the second expansion pack was Loopy Landscapes, and this came out a little bit after, but this also included the first one. So if you didn't get the first one, you could buy this one and get both. And then had a bobsled coaster, had much more water rides. And this one was kind of cool because I think I did have this one because I remember it included snowy environments where you can actually build in the snow and have like a snow coaster, which is weird. You don't ever see a theme park open in the winter, but it is what it is. And then
I think what Worlds of Fun gets to like I think October because they do the stuff for
Halloween.
Yeah,
the haunted houses and stuff. That's pretty fun to do.
Yeah.
So, and then it also had a Jurassic and Egyptian theme in this one. So I think the Jurassic one would have been kind of cool to try out. So,
walk like an Egyptian.
Yep, pretty much. So we're getting, as we kind of get close to wrapping this thing up. I did want to, we kind of mentioned it a little bit, but there was two other games in this franchise, RollerCoaster Tycoon 2, also created by Chris Sawyer. He had a little bit more help on this one. It was a little bit better graphics, but more details in this. And then RollerCoaster Tycoon 3, and Chris Sawyer was just an advisor on this one. He actually was not the developer. And yeah, so I think both. I know for sure. I had RollerCoaster Tycoon 1, and I played the second one. I don't remember. I don't even recognize this cover.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I played the third one or not. I might have been already out of playing those types of games because I mean, late 90s. I was starting to get into middle school in early 2000s. So. Yeah, I think they both held up, honestly. But what I wanted to talk to you is have you ever played Planet Coaster?
No.
You have not?
No, I've heard of it though, but I've never.
Yeah. No. It's kind of like the current version, like the updated, you can buy it on Xbox and PlayStation. And I saw I almost bought it. I was skimming through the store, the Xbox store, and I saw it actually on my gaming computer too.
No.
And almost pulled the trigger, but
yeah, they have a Ghostbuster a Ghostbuster DLC on their downloadable content pack or expansion pack, rather.
Oh, really?
You know,
So what is it? Just like a Ghostbuster themed rides and stuff?
probably, yeah. I don't even honestly know. So
That's kind of cool, though.
yep.
That is cool. So, let me see here. I think that's about it. You got nothing else?
No,
That's RollerCoaster Tycoon. This
pretty
computer
short.
games. Well, I guess simulation games are probably going to be much like Nintendo or sports games, maybe, and maybe Atari games where there's not a lot to them. This game did not have a lot to it, so it didn't have a. We're not going super in depth. There's not a lot. You're literally just opening up a theme park, building it to the best of your ability, making as much money as possible, and that's it. That's the goal. It's much like if we tried to do an episode on like Pitfall on Atari, or or even when we start doing like NBA Jam. Like I know NBA Jam was a lot of fun, but we're gonna have a full episode on NBA Jam. There's not a lot. We'll probably have a 45-minute episode on it, but
or more.
Anyway, yeah, great game, great series. Chris Sawyer's the man. Something that was not supposed to happen happened. Became the best-selling computer game in 1999. 4 million copies sold, and here we are. 25 years later. I don't know how many. I can't math. Talking about it on the podcast, on a video cast, nonetheless. So that's wild. And Brody says yes. I don't know what he says yes about, but he agrees. Noted. So that's it, man. We've got we did not do a pop culture section last night, and we did not do one last week either, because we did Madden. We did all the versions of Madden, so we didn't really have a year to go off of. And then we did Cartoon Network. Again, a lot of years went into that. But tonight we're bringing it back. It's a little bit different. We don't have a movie for you because I could not find a movie that I really knew from April of 1999 that came out. But I do have something that I do know. And that is in April of 1999, a pay-per-view was on television called Spring Stampede. It was a fatal four-way between the Icon Sting, Hulk Hogan, Diamond Dallas Page, and Ric Flair for the WCW World Heavyweight Championship. And the special guest referee was none other than the Macho Man Randy Savage. So even in the decline of WCW, which clearly April 1999, WCW was pretty much, it may not have been down far, but it was in a nosedive. It may have still been up. It may have just got over that hump and was going downward, but this is a hell of just looking at it on paper, a hell of a main event for a pay-per-view. Yeah. All 5 of your top wrestlers in the main event. I don't know what the undercard looked like. I wish I would have wrote that down, but this is your main event. So did you watch did you watch how long did you watch WCW before you completely stopped?
Like before I switched?
Yeah, I mean, I was always really heavily nothing but WCW until early 2000, and then I made the switch. But I know you kind of channel surfed. When did you completely stop watching WCW?
I stopped watching it shortly after I saw the 1999 Royal Rumble I Quit match between The Rock and Mankind. So
just a couple months before this pay-per-view.
Yeah, something like that. I saw Goldberg get tased and go to jail and then come back. So basically the reformation of the NWO. I saw Ray lose his mask, which might have actually been. No, I don't think that was the same episode.
That was to Kevin Nash, right?
Yeah. Well, it was the Outsiders versus K-Dog or Conan and Rey Mysterio, the Filthy Animals.
Rowdy.
Yep. Yeah, Brody, Halftime Heat was definitely dope. It was awesome. Don't ever remember if I actually watched the whole thing in its entirety. But yeah. But yeah. I don't remember like exactly when. I saw Jericho come to Raw because actually I was watching WCW and I was flipping back and forth, and I recorded that episode actually. Now, do I still have it? I don't know. Probably not. But it was, I was watching WCW and I flipped over to WWE or WWF at the time, and Jericho was making his debut on Raw for WWE. So that was pretty huge. So then it was against The Rock. So
yeah, what a way to debut yourself against one of the top of all time.
And those are two of the greatest talkers in wrestling.
100%.
So because they were both either really loved or really hated, but they could definitely talk on that microphone for sure.
Yeah, so, not many people knew Jericho could. I mean, they did in WCW, but they didn't give him. They didn't give him the platform to do it.
No, I mean, if Jericho would have never made that switch to WWE, I mean, who knows where he would have been? Because he was just a cruiserweight mid-carder, if that, in WCW.
Yeah, I think they probably. Yeah, I think WCW would have already. Yeah, they would have already been, or no matter what, have gone out of business. And I think Jericho would have made the jump, but it would have taken him a lot longer to become that mainstream.
Yep.
But anyway, not to stay on the wrestling topic, we could talk for days on wrestling. Let's go to the TV show that was debuted in, and I was going to show with April. This actually started May 1st, so I cheated a little bit, but this is an iconic show.
We'll just say we'll just say it's on May Fool's Day.
May Fool's Day.
Yeah.
SpongeBob SquarePants had the very first episode May 1st of 1999.
Wow.
Yeah, just a few short weeks after RollerCoaster Tycoon was released.
And isn't SpongeBob actually still on? Like, aren't they still coming out with new episodes?
Dude,
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think they are. But there's a movie coming out, and it's Plankton's World or something. There's a movie that is being advertised on Netflix or Disney. I'm not sure which. I think it's Netflix. And the boys have a countdown. Like every day, they're like, "Hey, there's only 7 because it comes out on March 7th. They're like, there's only 7 days to Plankton's movie. We gotta watch it." I was like, "Okay, we'll watch it. Don't worry." And then the next day, they're like, "Hey, there's only 6 days, or whatever." So yeah, they're excited for it. They watch SpongeBob. So I think they do still make the new ones. I mean, obviously we've got all the 17,000 streaming services, so we're not. I don't know if they're new episodes on Nickelodeon or not. So, and then last but not least, 3-time Pro Bowler, Dallas Cowboy, C.D. Lamb was born in April of 1999. So, while he's making a killing and a living that we would love to be doing, he was born while we were sitting playing some RollerCoaster Tycoon. So, pretty wild, man. Pretty wild. We're getting old.
Yep.
We're getting old. I think you're approaching the big 40 this year, aren't you?
Yep. August 3rd.
Just a few months away. Going to be in the 40s.
Yep. Don't remind me.
That's crazy. I'll be there. I'll be there before you know it. So, got anything else, Stitch Mania, before we close this up?
No, man.
No. Great episode. Good game. Fantastic time. And we got a few other games that I want to cover on on PC that we'll do in the future. And like I said, eventually we're going to hit every single console, I think, at least once. Even though we didn't play it very often, I do want to hit the consoles that came out in the 90s and 80s, early 2000s, something like that. So if you got nothing else, I am your host, the real Josh Elliott. This is my co-host, Derrick Stitchamania Stich, the real Stitchamania, the real Stitch effin' Mania. This is another episode of Nostalgia Mania. Next week, we are going to be covering one of Stitch's favorite video games, Star Fox 64. We will bust that out. And
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that episode, man. One of my all-time favorite games.
Yeah, it's going to be fun, man. Going to be a fun one. So be sure to tune in next Wednesday. I believe we're going to continue to go live on Wednesdays. Our schedule might change. My kids are starting starting soccer, and their practices might interfere a little bit with whether or not we go Tuesday or Wednesday. We'll figure it out. But either way, I think this next week it'll still be on Wednesday. So come join us, Star Fox 64. We'll probably chat a little bit about Star Fox on Super Nintendo, as we usually do with other games, but just a little bit. With that said, again, I'm your host, Real Josh Elliott. This is Stitchamania. And as always, let's get nostalgic.